Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Antoine, and we're coming at you today, man, with a very super ultimate special edition of Access Granted. I'm going to call this the Devil You Will Never Win edition. Yes, Bernadette, the background looks great. Yeah, this is definitely what I'm going to call the Devil You Will Never Win because God has all power. And when you come in and you try to destroy stuff and you try to knock it down and make it not happen, that man that we celebrate comes in and takes it over and we make it happen. I want to give a shout out first and foremost, man. It feels like I haven't been here in forever. It's crazy. I think the last show was like 2 weeks ago. And when we go this long without being on, it just feels like 2 months instead of just 2 weeks. But I want to give a special shout out to my sister, Nina, the original party girl. Unfortunately, because of the timing of the show, um, she can't be here with us today. But I do have my sister, Devonna, aka Foxy's baby, that's tuning, that's going to be on here with me now. I'm giving her a few minutes to get her situation set up. But man, it's been crazy. As you can see, I'm coming at you from I'm going to call this an undisclosed location today because this is definitely not my basement. Hold on, let me turn this down. Yeah, this is not my basement. And if you've been watching the last few shows, you pretty much know that the central air unit in my house hasn't worked pretty much all summer. Thank God for window units and a breeze that comes through the house every now and then. They were supposed to come the other day. They didn't make it, and they decided to reschedule for today at 2 o'clock. And I'm like, yo, I got a show. I got Sheila from Love Jones coming today. I can't do it. But God always makes a way, man. So I want to shout out a good friend of mine who's allowing me to use his domicile today. I got here early to make sure that I had the lighting, that the Wi-Fi was on, and everything else, man. But it's just been a task, man. The last time that I was here, I was preparing for my daughter's wedding, so I had the honor and the privilege of, and it's crazy because I actually had scheduled this show for last Friday, and I had to get back to our guests and say, due to unfortunate circumstances like my daughter's wedding, we're not going to be able to do the show last Friday. And fortunately, we were able to schedule. Dewana, do like this if you're ready. She's not doing that, so she's not ready. But I had the honor and the privilege to walk my daughter down the aisle this past Friday. And like I put on the post, other than the birth of the kids, man, that was truly the biggest honor that I've ever had as a father. And it was crazy to just, as you walk her down the aisle, and then you stand there, and the pastor is doing his spiel, and you're waiting for that point to say who gives this woman away. And I just saw the groom standing there with this tear that just trickled down, and I was absolutely done at that point. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And there's this video that's floating around on Facebook that's got me out here on this dance floor leaning. Well, a person that's supposed to be me, leaning with it, rocking with it, stanky legging, tootsie rolling, and all this stuff. That's not really me. That was my stand-in. Okay, I'm gonna put that out there. That wasn't really me. That was my stand-in. But I told my daughter, like, these ain't the dances that I rock with, but only for you. Well, I get out there on the dance floor at that reception myself. I'd do it. I would do it again 150 times if I had to. So, um, and it's just been a whole lot of other things going on. Dewana, damn it, you're gonna get this situation straight. But again, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been on, so there's been a lot going on in the city. The one thing that's kind of disturbing to me right now is that I see the numbers starting to creep back up as far as this virus and this new strand is concerned. And I said from the beginning that I think we were getting a little too comfortable too early, and at the way that these numbers are trending, we could very much be back in a pandemic situation by the end of the summer if we're not careful. And I'm just going to leave that at that. Dewana, are you? That looks like a mug shot right there. So you're still frozen. I'm not sure what's going on with you.
I'm here. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Every time we get on here, I'm like, listen, we not that. I'll keep going until it's right. So
Yeah, you want to try to
keep fooling with us.
You want to try to switch back to the other device, or because you're not moving at all. This literally looks like a mug shot right there.
I can try it. I can certainly try it.
Go ahead and give that a try. See, that's what I mean, man. Like, I'll wait until I see you get that focus. Like the devil is really he's really trying, but you know, as I put on my post, that's how I know that this is going to be the one. To mute the other device before I bring you on, so we don't get that feedback. The one that you just got off of. That's how I know that this is going to be an awesome show, because he's trying too hard, and we have a really special guest. There you go. You took it off altogether. All right, now focus it back on you. Get off your fingers so we can see if this one works. There you go. Shout out to my girl Val Jenkins checking in. Dewana, speak now or forever hold your peace. You're on mute. Dewana. Bingo. Bingo. She's there. Yes. Speak. don't frown your lips up like that. Don't frown your lips up. What's been going on with you, sis? I feel like we haven't talked in forever and a day as well.
Okay, so you can hear me, you can see me in all my glory.
All your glory and all of
Jesus, yes.
Foxy, all up there right now, and it's all Foxy. See, when the devil trying to get you, Foxy just goes down and takes over. That's how it is. How have you been, sis? I miss you, man.
No, I can't tell though. I can't tell because my phone ain't rang. I ain't got no messages. Ain't nobody said, come on over, come get these crab legs. Like, you ain't really missed me that much.
Like I've told others, like, don't take that personal, because I kind of put some stuff out to you earlier, you know, when we talked, I think earlier in the week, that it's just a lot going on. And
yeah, and you know, I understand. I'm just fooling with you because honestly, that's who I am. You know, I am the friend. I'm probably not going to check in with you every day, but if you need me, I'm gonna show up.
Right.
I'm definitely gonna be there when you need me. You know, so that's just who I am. I mean, I got a lot going on myself, you know what I mean? So I don't have time necessarily to, and because I've reached out to so many different people in so many different capacities, you know, I've had to learn how to set those boundaries and recognize like, okay, what's draining me? What's not necessarily a good connection. And I've been kind of plucking people off.
And we have to pluck on a regular these days.
Yes.
You know, that we can go days and weeks if we had to, if you know, need it be, and not speak. We don't, but if we had to, and when we connect,
and pick up like nothing ever happened, you know, because we understand that it's no love loss, it's life. You know what I mean? You a whole married man. I'm out here, you know, hot girl summer like I never summered summer before, you know?
Okay, and on that note, it's time to move on.
But seriously though, like, and I think people, they could misconstrue what I mean when I say a hot girl summer. Not that I really care what people think, but for me, hot girl summer is about me intentionally focusing on continuing to heal.
Right.
I mean, that's the most apparent thing that has changed is my hair, you know. I get excited when I talk about it because I remember being that little girl who absolutely hated her hair.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely like what?
We ain't doing that today because that's gonna go to all. We are the world. We are the children. I understand, but we got to get to the get. But I understand. I understand what you mean every time you say Hot Girl Summer. I know it's not song version of Hot Girl Summer, but
I mean, it could be.
I done seen a couple of pair of them shorts you done had on, and yeah, it could be. First of all, shout out to my sister Charisma, checking in from Phoenix, Arizona. I believe right outside of Phoenix. I love you, sis.
Yes, Arizona in the house.
Arizona's in the house. Shout out to my girl Val Jenkins.
Yes, Val. That's my good thing. She got me looking cute, don't she? Look. Hey.
Really. But yeah, man. I really appreciate first and foremost you stepping in, Bernadette. Okay, and she's back now. But I definitely, because this is like, I know you're supposed to be out getting money right now. I know this is your hustle time. So I appreciate you taking a little bit of time. But without further ado, man, told you I had a movie crush on this lady, man. I'm about to get in fan zone and just sit here and let y'all talk for a few minutes. And I don't want to dwell just specifically on Love Jones.
Yeah, because she has tons of projects
that we definitely want to touch on. Shout out to my man DJ Joe Storm, Fleet DJs in the building. But that is the movie. And when I bring her on, I'm gonna talk about that part that I talked about with you a few minutes.
Oh Lord!
Like, Sheila, come to me. There's my favorite part. Out of all of that movie, this was my favorite part in the movie, man. But this is definitely it was a classic, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But we're definitely going to also talk about some of the other stuff that she's done, some of the stuff that she has coming up, and we really just want to get to know her on a real, not too personal but personal level, man. Because I feel like there's a special message that we're going to have today. So without further ado.
Hi.
How are you, beautiful?
Oh,
look at him. He can't get himself together.
That's okay.
All right. So first of all, y'all represent Lot Gang.
Yes.
Yep. This is my second go around. Mm-hmm.
Definitely in the building. And it's early out there where she is, man. It's like 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the morning.
It's like 10:43. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I definitely appreciate you taking the time to, get up and, come and hang out with us folk here on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
It was definitely an honor and a privilege. And I'm gonna get right into it, man. I told Dewana before we got on here.
Oh boy, don't embarrass me, okay? Don't act up.
What part of the East Coast are you guys from?
We're in
Maryland.
Oh, awesome. I got family in Baltimore.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, that sounds like a Baltimore, Maryland accent.
Yeah, everybody knows. And then you got this little Philly accent thing going on.
Oh, my husband would love you because he's from Philly.
Yes! See, that's what I'm talking about. We family already. Yes.
Bernadette, there's this part in Love Jones where you guys were at Samaj's house and he got to playing that bongo and you got up and you started dancing and you combed your hair.
You like that part, huh?
Look, he can't even speak. He done lost his whole train of thought and everything.
Telling me, you gonna mess around and get us pregnant? That was like as movies in general go, but for some reason we always want to put this black movie thing on movies when there's a black cast. Love Jones is definitely on my Mount Rushmore of favorite movies, and I just want to ask you, did you have any idea exactly what that movie was going to be, the impact that it was going to have during that time?
Oh,
during
when we were making it, you
during
mean?
the filming and when it actually came out, did you have any idea that these many years later it's still considered a classic?
Oh, well, I think as an actor, you want your film to do well. You want your film to be received well from the audience, and to even have a crossover effect if possible, to kind of be timeless. But I don't think we had the idea of the amount of impact that the film had, and the fact that my daughter's generation, is into the film, and so it's like done way more than we ever anticipated. And it almost feels like we just did it every time people talk about it, and we haven't. It was a while ago. But yeah, I think that's just a blessing when you pick a project that has such appeal in not only your community but in other communities. Yeah.
And the cast was absolutely amazing. Like, how did it feel working with like a young Nia, a young Lorenz, and all of the people that were a part of that project?
It was amazing, to be honest. Ted and I met way before Love Jones, so to be able to audition for him with his first big project was such a gift, and we already knew each other. And so I feel like he wrote Sheila for me because she wasn't even written when I was auditioning.
Wow.
Wow. So, okay, so now you got to tell that story. How did Sheila come about?
Well, he when we auditioned, I was doing like, I first read for Lisa Nicole Carson's character when I first auditioned for it, and then the next time we did an improv, and that was for Isaiah Washington's wife's character, and that was just an improv situation. And then I had my next callback, which was I had to do an African dance. And it was hilarious because Ted was like, I knew you come in here, bringing the heat. And I was like, you asked me to come in with a choreographed dance, which I thought was quite interesting because that didn't tell me anything about what I'd be doing, in the film. And then at that same audition, he had me read sides for Sheila, and the record store scene was the only scene that he had written. And the way he directed that particular audition was, you only can be from Chicago to understand like what he's saying. He's like, okay, so you go to Whitney Young, which is this, all Black high school, and very, but very kind of sedity, all Black high school, right? As opposed to like, say, a Corliss or a CVS, which was like in the hood,
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you go to Whitney Young, and so this, that, and the other. And I was like, totally knew what he meant because I'm from Chicago. And my sister went to Whitney Young. So I was like, I'll just channel my sister, and her friends. And that's how I did the audition. So that was the only scene written at the time. By the time I got cast and we were rehearsing, because he definitely believes in rehearsal, my role was written. So it was really cool. Yeah.
And that movie took place 100% in Chicago.
Yeah, 100% in Chicago. And the one thing that I look back at the film now that I absolutely love, that I don't necessarily think I appreciated when it first came out, but now looking back at it years later, the beauty of the film, the way he shot it, I felt like it's a moving picture book. When you look at it, the way he captures our city, and the beauty of black and white, and the music that he chose. He was very hands-on in every aspect of the film, and it was considered low budget, and I don't know if New Line really thought it was going to be as popular, because honestly, it wasn't when it first came out. I mean, it was, and they made their money back, but it didn't stay in the theaters that long. It became huge once it kind of went, to rentals. And at the time that was like VHS, right?
Yes.
Then DVD, right? But that's when people were like, hey, have you watched this movie, Love Jones? It's like watching Netflix now. Hey, have you seen that movie on Netflix? Yeah. And so then it spans like this massive fan base to where we are now, where it's on Netflix right now. And and we celebrated our 20-year anniversary a couple of years ago, and
that's amazing.
Just crazy. Yeah, I think it's just one of those projects that you're just very grateful to be a part of, you know? Yeah.
And I think I don't know who was in charge of doing the soundtrack for that movie, but the soundtrack and the movie were like the perfect marriage. Like the perfect marriage. Like I still listen to the soundtrack to this day. The Sweetest Thing by Lauryn
Isn't
Hill
it
is
dope? I know.
songs of
Just
all time.
dope.
And when you just look at the placement of some of the music in the movie, like whoever was responsible for the score actually put the music in, like they were just spot on with every aspect of it. Like it just, like you could just feel the culture of the city. You can feel the culture, and the spirit of all of the characters. It was just like the perfect marriage, man. And I just, it's a movie that I can still sit down and watch today, and it's like it's the first time that I've ever seen it before.
Right. You don't even know that we did that film in the 90s. It doesn't ring 90s at all. And I think that's why it's timeless. It doesn't necessarily ring that way in how the costumes are, how the music is. It's very neo soul, which we have today, very jazz influence, which we have today. And I think that just helps it span the time. It becomes timeless because of that, right? And we have shows that show Chicago, or films that have shown Chicago, but it's never really the more attractive part of Chicago, because you hear, oh, Chicago has a lot of crime, Chicago has a lot of this, But I think Love Jones shows the beauty of Chicago and the culture of Chicago. And then you just get to see a love story, back and forth love story where two people are trying to figure it out. They want to be together, but they're in their own way, and so, yeah. So.
And there were about 3 times in that movie that you wanted to punch Bill Bellamy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little. So tell us a little bit about growing up in Chicago. I know that I don't think you were there like your entire.
Oh, no. I was born in New York and lived in New York until I think I was 7, and then I moved to Chicago. So my formative years are all in Chicago. That's why I say I'm from there. I don't sound like I come from New York or anything like that, So it was interesting. I gotta tell you, it was definitely interesting. We lived in what was called the North Side, and so it wasn't very culturally diverse in the North Side. We had speckles of Black people everywhere. But my mom, she was a single mom, and so I never really stayed at home anyway because she wanted me to always be busy to keep me occupied so that I don't get in a whole bunch of trouble, because I'm very inquisitive and I'm going to want to be all over the place. So she made sure that I was very artistically involved, either taking guitar lessons or in a sport. I did gymnastics for a really long time, or I was in some kind of performing arts camp. And ironically, I did not want to be an actor, even though I was around all this artistic influence. That was the farthest thing from my mind. And it probably was just because nobody was really doing it around me or in my family. And I just know that we just love the arts. That's it. And so, yeah.
So what changed then? What was the turning point that you decided, okay, I don't really want to, but now I'm actually full-fledged. I'm going for this.
Well, interesting enough, I think when you're young and you implant something on a child, it can stay with you and you don't really realize it. So by the time I got to college, I wanted to be an aeronautical engineer. But to show you how much I really wanted to do that, I went to the least technical school you could go to, which was the University of Georgia. And I did not even pick up my engineering major, saying I want to be an aeronautical engineer, right? I picked up like liberal arts. And and so I had a scholarship. I had a full ride. I had to keep I had to take, engineering classes and all that stuff. But I minored in theater. I wanted to minor in theater just to have like an outlet. And I'm in Georgia, so it's the height of racism is going strong during that time. But I also love the South because ironically enough, I like to know where I stand with people. Yeah. So that's kind of where the South is. You know what I mean? You kind of know what you know and you know how to navigate, versus like LA could be very daunting because it's very hidden and very camouflaged, and it's not like in your face. Right. And so by the time I was a junior, all my friends were interning and all their career choices. I'm a Delta. I pledged at Georgia, and they were all interning and had definitive ideas of what they wanted to be. And I'm like floundering, like, I don't know. And
what happened?
We lost her. We'll get her back.
There I am. He was the only Black teacher in my department, in the theater department. There I am.
Okay, I'm gonna stay away.
We're playing hide and seek right now. But he was the only teacher that honestly believed in me. University of Georgia is huge. It's a huge school. And outside of just my surroundings of being in the Black Student Union, being around my sorors, and, you know, there wasn't a lot of support. And so he was just like, hey, have you thought about being an actor? Wow. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, actually, you're really good. I think you should think about it. And so I left and kind of like, I wonder what that looks like, right? And thought about it, couldn't sleep. Woke up the next day, went into the counselor's office, was like, what would it take to change my major to become either a BFA or focus on a BA so that I can have now more classes in theater and all that. And I stayed in school an extra year and a half. I was supposed to graduate early, and I ended up graduating late, the end of the year, so that I could take as many classes as I could and make up for not having that as a major. And then after that, went back to Chicago, and that's all she wrote. Yeah.
And that's one of those amazing stories of someone's something in you that you didn't even know that you really had. Like, you acting seemed like at that point that was the furthest thing from your mind, and he saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself, and here you are today. Like,
yeah.
That's amazing story.
Yeah. And I think it's important when somebody believes in you or gives you guidance and direction when you're kind of like floundering and you don't really know. You know you're supposed to be doing something, but you don't really know what it is, right? And I've always had a vivid imagination. I've always like role playing and playing with my dolls and making up stories and things like that. But again, I'm just thinking that's just child's play, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
You didn't even realize that you were actually harnessing a skill right there. You just
I had no idea. No idea. So
how was that culture shock to go from New York to Athens?
You mean from Chicago to Athens?
Chicago to Athens. Yeah.
It was huge. It was huge. I mean, my family's in North Carolina, so I had been, to the South as far as North Carolina is concerned. But definitely Georgia is a whole different breed. But, I fell in love with it when I got there. Like, I really loved, and sometimes you can be born in the city but have the heart of a country person, or you can be born in the country and have a heart of a city person. I think that's me. I was born in the city, but I have the heart of a country person. I just like trees and nature and birds and serene, surroundings, which you can just go into different parts of Georgia and just feel that. Mm-hmm. And that helped me a lot while I'm trying to navigate everything else, being in college, being during the culture shock of racism being right in your face. There's can't get around it. We would drive on the I-20, and I remember seeing a burning cross on the. I was like, what? Because you hear about stuff, but to actually see it, it was like mind blowing. Or, having somebody pull a gun out at you, because we stopped at the wrong gas station, just crazy stuff. Or things that even in theater school, we were doing Little Shop of Horrors, and, the 3 young girls are Black and they're supposed to be like school dropouts, right? And they casted 3 white women and made them prostitutes.
Really? Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's.
But you that's all a part of your story. That's all a part of the grooming of when you tell stories, when you utilize your vessel. You tap into the things that you've experienced.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to picture that those three white women in Little Shop of Horrors, because I've seen that. I've seen the movie a couple
Yeah.
of times. Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, it's a you wouldn't want to see that.
At all.
That's one version you don't want to see.
But I agree 10,000% with what you said about Georgia, though, because my wife is actually from Columbus, Georgia, which is about 90 minutes south of Atlanta. And
Yep.
when you get there, there's like a whole serene feeling that just comes over, especially when you're in a city like Baltimore or a city like Philly or a city like New York, where it just seems like it's hustle and bustle from the time you wake up until the time you go to sleep. Down there, there's just a certain pace where it's like, okay, I don't have to feel like everything is just like, 24 hours.
It's no rush.
Right. You feel like you can keep up, right? Like you're not like always rushing to
that's the perfect way to put it. You feel like you can keep up. Yeah. So when you get back to Chicago, what's next? You decided now that you want to get into the acting. What's next?
Oh, I just beat the street. I tried to study as much as I could. I believe in honing your craft, and I just felt, even though I have a degree in theater at that point, I wanted to still learn, because I didn't have 4 years of it. And so for me, it was like study. And, I didn't really have a mentor at the time. So a lot of it was trial and error of learning and just auditioning, and some bombing my auditions. But it was interesting because Chicago is a very loyal city, even in the casting world. And I know some of my beginning auditions were terrible, but the people, they kept calling me in. Like, I remember I really wanted to work at Steppenwolf Theater. It was like one of the pinnacle theaters in Chicago. And I auditioned like year after year after year after year after year. And I was just like, I'm never going to be good enough, right? And I remember the artistic director said, keep coming, you're almost there, keep coming. And I don't know what he meant by that, but by the time I got cast at that theater, I was in 2 shows at the same time. Wow. And so I was like, okay, I got tenacity, perseverance, is important. You can't give up, because there's no like immediate
right especially in acting.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there were particular things that you had to improve on every time that you went back? I mean, he's telling you to keep trying, keep coming back, but he's not telling you, what it is that you're missing or what it is that you're not doing to get you there. Did you have a sense of what you needed to work on?
I think just confidence. I was very bold and very ambitious, but I didn't always have the confidence when I would walk into an audition, because I'm so worried about what people think, and I don't care really how old you are how often you're doing this. If there's something that you really want to do, you're going to get nervous, but you learn that you're enough, that your talent is enough. And the competition is really between you and yourself, because I can't compete against another actress and she has a different essence than I do. She has a different take on the scene than I do. And honestly, it's really up to the mindset of the people casting. If I'm not what you've already decided that you're looking for, then I'm not going to get it no matter what I do. So it was learning to just be confident in my skill, and in what I had to offer when I would come to the table as far as an audition is concerned. And I'm still learning that. I'm still, I mean, not like learning like brand new, but I think I'm still open to, I'm enough. I'm enough for this.
Yes.
I'm enough for that. And it doesn't matter if I'm not cast in it, I'm still enough.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
So, you better preach, because I feel like that's so indicative of just life, not even just acting, but just recognizing that you're enough no matter what arena you walk into. Right. You were born worthy.
Right.
You know, it's not anything that you can necessarily do. It's just who you are. And
Yes.
it's time that we, especially as Black women, that we accept that. It's not about competition. It's about recognizing just who you are and just allowing that to blossom.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
It's important. It's important that you surround yourself around people that help you blossom.
yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
that you help them do the same thing, that you realize it's a win-win. If I'm helping you with an audition and I didn't get that audition, you know, back in the day when you're in your 20s, you're kind of like, well, why didn't I get that audition? And then you're kind of more self-focused. But now I think being in the industry for so long, I'm more of the mindset that if I sow seeds of gratitude, if I sow seeds of service, I get it back tenfold.
Yes.
You know, as long as I'm doing my part, as long as I'm ready when my opportunity hits me, that's all that matters. And that's a constant daily, you know, training and all the other facets of what I do in the industry now, not just acting, but it all kind of has allowed me to grow as a complete artist.
Yes.
You know, and you're going to constantly grow because you go through life, right? You live life, you know, and so, yeah.
So you said you didn't have a mentor during this time. So were there any actors or actresses that you kind of like studied and tried to pull little different things from them that you could bring into you as an actress?
I read a lot, but I didn't like study people on screen. I know other actors do that. I would say so when we did Love Jones, Nia was very kind and she kind of like hit me to like the business aspect of, she knew this was my first film. And so she had done, you know, work before that. And so she was like, this is kind of like, I want to show you these stills. I want to show you, you know, talk to you about like the business aspect of it. So very, very giving, very, very, you know, kind in that way. You know what I'm saying? But it was when I did this movie called To Serve with Love 2. I don't know if you know who Sidney Poitier is. So I did that actually before I did Love Jones. And he was actually like a mentor. Like, you know, I got cast and Mr. Poitier handpicked like 5 of us in the cast. And he would meet with us an hour before our call time to go through the scene, to kind of coach us, teach us, you know, bring out in us what we can rely on and trust. He definitely taught me that it's important to listen, you know, and not listen like I can regurgitate what you say, but listen with my heart so that I have a genuine response. You know what I mean? Just things that you're not going to learn in school, you know? And he probably will never know how much of an impact he made at the beginning of my career. And I feel like I was able to do Love Jones and audition, you know, with confidence with Love Jones because of To Serve with Love 2. You know, so he was the mentor. There was another gentleman named Charles Dutton that I did theater with. I don't know if you remember this old show called The Rock or
oh, baby.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we remember? Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah. He was another mentor for me. We did Shakespeare together. And I remember him because I'm an avid Broadway follower and August Wilson reader. And, you know, so the fact that here in LA and like started this theater company with a bunch of actors, and I got to do King Lear with him and play his daughter. And that was like, to match his level on stage, if you can do that, like he was doing something.
Wow.
And it was amazing, but he was kind and he was giving. And I've just been blessed to be with the most giving and kind actors when I'm working. And it's made all the difference, I think, in my work, instilling more confidence that I know what I'm doing and that I'm doing a good job. And yeah, I've just been blessed that way. I wouldn't trade. So that's kind of like where my mentorship came from, was when I book a job, I happen to be with somebody that's just very giving. You know, for Downey Jr., same thing. Jamie Foxx, same thing. Just very giving.
Charles Dutton is one of my favorites, not only because he's from here, but I think he's very versatile in the roles that he plays. And he's kind of been on my bucket list of people that I wanted to interview. But I had a chance to see him about 2 or 3 years ago when a friend of mine was doing a one person play, a one man play, and to my surprise, Charles was there, and that was like the last person I expected to see. And under different circumstances, I probably would have just ran straight up to him and said, "Look, bro, I need you on my show next Wednesday at 7 o'clock," because that's what time my show was at the time. But he was in a wheelchair and looked like he wasn't doing really good health wise, and there was no way that I was going to walk up, to him. And I did walk up and introduce myself, and he did acknowledge, but there was no way that I was going to be like, "Yo, you got to come be on the show" and stuff like that. But he really he's really kind of set a standard for the people that are trying to come out of this city, and be, in film and television, because like I said, he's so versatile in the roles that he's played. And Rock, of course, is, a legendary show that I think people still watch to this day, because it's, it's in a little bit of syndication, and then, with streaming now, you can just go and find it everywhere. And he was amazing in that show. Like I loved Rock to death. The show, not only because it represented Baltimore, just
right.
It was just a well-written show. Like
it was
writing, but whoever was involved, it was just like a really well-written show. And that was like a family that I could relate to, because that was all Baltimore in that household right
there. Yes.
The fans about that it was West Baltimore all
day long. Yeah. Yep, it was one of my favorites too.
So how's the matriculation to California been for you?
Oh, it's been amazing. Yeah, I didn't want to move here, but I'm glad I did. I met my husband here, so LA gets my vote because I met him here.
So maybe that's what I need to do.
I moved to LA. Girl, I don't know now. My daughter trying to date, and I don't know.
How old is your daughter?
Oh, my daughter's 28.
Okay. It's ironic because my daughter, who's 25, we were talking earlier today, and she says to me, well, because I explained to her that I was, actually going to meet you today. And she informed me that not only, of course, were you in Love Jones, but that you're also in All American. And I was like, wait a minute. You're right. She is an All-American. But I thought it was just such a beautiful moment that, like, here my child would have been 2 years old when Love Jones was released, right?
Right.
What would she have known about that, But here, 20-some years later, she's talking with me about the movie. She's talking with me about you as an actor. And I'm just like, how incredible is this? So it just really speaks to the timeless nature of your work, the fact that you are indeed still relevant. And I did want to also say, as you talked about the fact that you felt like every time you went into, a particular role and all these people around you were so kind and giving, it's because that's who you are.
Oh, thank you.
We don't think about it when we're doing it. We don't enter a situation being kind and giving in expectation of more kind and giving, but that's just exactly what happens. When you put it out in the world, it does come back tenfold, and so don't be surprised. I mean, I'm over here fighting back tears because I'm like, she's so kind and giving.
Thank you.
But indeed.
Or that she reciprocates that to the people, that she works with on film.
Absolutely.
Quite sure she gives that same, energy back to them. So, yeah.
I hope so. I mean, I've learned a lot about myself, and I've made a ton of mistakes, and it's, just living life, right? But when people take the time to forgive, I've had a lot of people forgive me. Not that I've made atrocious mistakes, but definitely when you make a mistake, you always wonder, is that person going to forgive you? You hurt people you don't mean to, or your immaturity because you haven't grown yet in that area or whatever, and that can hurt somebody, right? But I've had very forgiving people in my life too. And I think that has motivated me to constantly be a better me. And so, like, even with my children, I've taught them that I'm sorry is a very important statement in my house. And it starts with me and my husband as parents.
Yes.
Then they understand that you're not only a human being, but you're a person. You deserve respect no matter what age you are. And I don't have a right to speak to you any old kind of way in the name of being your parent. And so we have adopted this manner of living that we take ownership of our stuff and we say, I'm sorry. And then we say, would you please forgive me? Like, because you don't have to.
Right.
It's a privilege if somebody says, I'm going to take the time to forgive you. That means that, and you learn. And so you learn, like, I like this way of living. My family is crazy. We're fun. We're crazy. we have in-depth, deep, heated conversations, all of that. But we also, know when we've gone too far or when we've disrespected one another, and and I think that's why we're so close as a family. It was definitely new for my mom, who was old school, coming in and like, what, you talk about your stuff in public, like what, and I was like, yeah, I don't necessarily I don't necessarily live out loud on social media, but my son does. That's his generation. He's 19. They live out loud. They don't have nothing to hide, and I'm like, half of that generation wants to be entrepreneurs anyway. They're not worried about corporate America digging up their stuff, up on the internet. You know what I mean? So I respect him for that, and he lives a transparent life, and I love that about him, and so I've adopted that. I want to sow seeds of gratitude, kindness, and inspiration, because that's what I need. I need that. You know what I mean? That helps me. And so if I can give that back, when I didn't get it, you know what I mean? Then that means a lot to me, because now I've helped you soar and fly higher. And why not? I'm not going to be on this planet forever. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's, and I hope that my work, I'm really picky about my work and what I choose to do. I took a lot of time off from working because of my kids. I wanted to raise them and keep them and be a mom at home, because this was the first time in my generation and my husband's generation that there was a 2-parent household. So he grew up with a single mom, I grew up with a single mom, but my kids don't. You know what I mean? And so that was important to me. And so that meant kind of taking a huge step back from working just for me, because I know what it did for me growing up. And I know my mom did her best. And she's awesome, but I also know there was kind of like a hole in my heart to not have her when I was going through stuff, have her like readily right there, in the house. And so I chose to do that for my kids. And now, my kids are like, go do your thing. Like, bye, and they're off doing their thing. And that feels really good, because it told me the industry is not going anywhere. We can feel, actors especially can feel like, oh my God, time, and I have to, and look at what everybody's doing. And you kind of compare, but you can't do that. You just gotta, know that your time is coming if you stay the course. So
let me ask you this. And this is something that, from the outside looking in, we've heard all kinds of stories about. Not only are you Black, but you're a Black woman, and you're dealing with Hollywood. How has that been for you?
I mean, it's interesting. It's been interesting. Like I said, there are certain things that I won't do because I don't want to represent. Those aren't the stories that I feel in my spirit I choose to represent. Not that I'm judging the story. It's just that I think it's easy sometimes to portray us in certain instances when all of us don't live that life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I came from a single parent household, but my mom was working in corporate America. You know what I mean? And my upbringing, I was doing a very expensive sport, so it was just different versus my husband, who grew up in West Philly, but his mom has a master's degree. His dad had a master's degree. You know what I mean? Doesn't always, just because you say one thing doesn't constitute that it means something else. And so that can be frustrating in Hollywood when the wrong people are trying to tell your stories. Right. And so what I appreciate now is the fight for inclusivity and diversity in all storytelling. And that Hollywood is trying really hard to have the right voices tell the stories, or at least get consultation and conversation to be accurate, and authentic in telling the story. Like, I give you an example in the movie Soul. I don't know how that cartoon, the animation, but there's a barbershop scene, right? The guy's going to go for an interview. Well, it's a black guy. So what does a black man do when he get ready to go for an interview? The first thing he's going to go do is get a haircut and get his edge up, right?
Yes.
Right.
Gotta be
so
sure.
Right. And so we knew when we saw it, somebody black in that conversation. Because somebody that doesn't get an edge up is not going to know, oh, this is what he would do versus what I would do. And those things matter. It totally matters. I've had it where a lot of times people don't know what to do with me. So I've heard that, like, we don't really know what to do with you because I'm light in complexion, but I have black features, right? And so a lot of times light-skinned girls could be mixed, and so they have my features, So it's this weird, my daughter and I talk about all the time about light-skin privilege, and I'm like, hold up, I ain't got that much privilege. Because she's actually your complexion, Foxy, so beautiful brown. And then my son is lighter than me, so it's and even in that, like, a black family having an array of color, that's nice to finally see, because we do even though you have two black parents, doesn't mean that all your kids are going to come out
right
one way or the other. They're going to come out in whatever way they're going to come out.
Yeah.
Because they went back a generation, and so I think you navigate it. It can be very hard and very tiring. But you can't quit. You got to keep going, and you got to know when to pick and choose your battles. And then you got to create your own stuff. If you're tired of what voices aren't out there, create your own. That's why Lena Waithe is very much, she makes it no secret that she is for the LGBTQIA plus community. She's for the Black women community, and she's for, Black people. And she makes no bones about that. And she shouldn't, but if she didn't take a stand on what she wanted her stories to be like, they wouldn't necessarily get told the way that she felt they needed to be told. And so hopefully we'll see a birth of more diverse voices, not just Black voices, but Native American voices, Latino voices, Asian voices. This is important.
Is this part of the reason that you decided to do your own production company and, have that ability to kind of put your touch, on stories?
That kind of fell in my lap in a way. I didn't really think, starting off in this industry, I would even be a director or a producer or a content creator, any of the above. I thought I was just going to be an actor for the rest of my life. But it's been a beautiful journey to step into the role of a director. I love it. Love it. And my imagination gets to pop off.
Tell us how you really feel.
It's crazy, huh?
I said, tell us how you really feel.
I know, right? I actually can say that I think I love it more than acting, and I really love acting. And I think it's because as an actor, you're a part of the story, you're a piece to the puzzle. But when you're a director, you have the whole puzzle, and so you get to visualize how you hear it, how you see it, then you get to collaborate. And I love collaboration with those that specialize in what they do, and then they understand and what story you're trying to tell, and they all come together to tell it. Like that's just a beautiful experience, you know. And I've been able to do it in theater, and now I've stepped into the film world. And my film debut, I did a short, and that will be debuting. Hopefully, will be done, and I'll be able to screen it in August, and then put it in festivals, you know. And I've got other things on my slate and projects that are being shopped right now, and it's a fun time. It really is. It's a fun time. I'm excited.
Are you going to stay behind the camera at this point, or
No.
you're gonna?
No, I just got finished working with MC Light, so yeah. So wait for that.
She like, Bernadette, watch me now, okay? Yeah. But so, yes.
Yeah, and then I was in the pilot of a new Netflix pilot that'll be dropping soon. So yeah, I'm still in front of the camera, but I think it's like you don't limit yourself. You kind of go, I'm learning to listen to the spirit, right? And God is the ultimate creator, you know, for me. And then I'm made in his image.
Yes.
And that means that I'm made as a creator too. So wherever the spirit,
yes,
I just need to obey. Like if the spirit's going, no, I want you to go over here and I want you to direct that. I want you to go over here and I want you to act in that. And God's going to work it out where I can do both. Mm-hmm. Right now, I am definitely focused on directing and getting my projects out there. But I still audition and stuff. So, you know, I want to be a superhero. So, I'm not done. Yeah.
That's a film I'd be first in line to see.
Oh, thank you. Well, Whoopi Goldberg said she's doing a superhero about an older lady. I was like, can I join?
Yes.
Be a part of the superhero
game. Yes.
A superhero with locks would be dope.
Wouldn't that be dope?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm.
That would be real dope. Of course, she said, and of course, you and your husband collaborate on a lot of stuff as well, right? He's a part of everything that you're doing.
Oh yeah, my whole family is. They don't have no choice. Yeah. So when my daughter does something, like she's a poet, she's a spoken word artist, and and she's an actress. But when she does her poetry, I'll either help produce it with her or I'll direct it, and she'll produce it and write it. And her friends who do music will do the music, and my husband will be the DP. So like we're all intertwined. In my mom is my assistant a lot of times when I'm directing something. I bring her on because of corporate America and all the gifts that she's gained in corporate America, and her sense of detail and writing, and she knows me really well, that she knows how to reel me back in, like when I'm drifting off or I'm not taking care of myself or whatever, you know. But but my husband's got some big. He's an amazing man. I'm very blessed to be with somebody who's my equal and creative. And he's actually the one that kind of pushed me forward to go after directing and other things outside of acting. He's always told me my voice is bigger, you know, and you need to go get it. He's always been that way. And but he's amazing. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Just how she described him, she had to pause. Like he's an amazing man. I'm trying to get there. I'm just trying to get there.
We've been together a long time. Since a long time.
A little blush in there and everything.
Yes. I think that, I mean, after 22 years, I hope I still am loving on my husband, and I hope he's still loving on me. You know what I mean? Like you're married, you hope, like, I don't want my kids to look at my marriage and be like, I never want that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You want your kids and the younger generation to be like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's the relationship I want. You know, and it takes work, and you work at it, but I think, and we had to learn how to work together. We didn't hit it off at the beginning. We tried to work together. It didn't really go well. But, you know, we were like, well, we're going to stay married, so we got to figure this out. And I think the more that you build trust and safety in your marriage, the more you can work together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
it's funny what you just said, because this generation does, as soon as they see like a little bit of turmoil or something in the marriage. It's like, see, I don't want to do da 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 da. But in order to get to this point where we are 22 years into this, you have to go through that.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, that's ironing, sharpening iron right there.
I almost feel like if you don't go through something, something's wrong with your marriage. Honestly,
right? Yeah, because I need to see you in all your ugly, you know, and you need to be able to see me in all my ugly. You know what I mean? Yeah. If anybody's gonna see it, it needs to be you. It needs to be my husband.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and he's still around, so that's a good thing. he's still with me.
Always air conditioner man, so I could be here doing this shit.
Yeah, you need to get air conditioning, brother. You couldn't live in LA, right? You couldn't. It's been over 100 this whole week. You would not be able to be out here without no air conditioner.
Yeah, but we've had plenty of 4 or 5 day stretches where, you know, the temperature says 95, but when you throw that humidity in,
oh yeah,
it's been unbearable. You know, we have the little window units, but as soon as you step away from directly in front of that window unit, you're hot. So that only does you, you know, that only works if you're going to sit in that spot for 24 hours, which I can't do, unfortunately. But
so you're just gonna sweat. It's all right.
But it is.
It's okay.
It's all life. It's all life. So you did said that you have some projects coming up. Like, can you give us like a ballpark of when we can see the next, whatever the next may be?
Well,
what did you say, August? You said you had something.
Yeah. So the film I did with MC Light, it will be dropping soon. We're still in post with that, so I don't want to give anything away with that. But just look out for it. You'll see me posting it on my Instagram. My film, Imaginist, is my partner Mike Lira. He wrote it, and it actually comes from a film, but we decided to do a short. That it's going to drop in August, and you'll see me post it. First Kill, which is the Netflix pilot that I did, will be dropping soon. They just got finished wrapping it, and we shot it in Atlanta, which was fun. It was great to go back to go back to Atlanta. And what else? And I think that's enough right now, because I'm in development on 2 projects right now that I'm working on. So, and then 2 are being shopped right now. So, yeah.
Now listen, Sheila. I'm not talking to Bernadette right now. I'm talking to Sheila.
No, okay.
There's been many a rumor over the years.
It's not happening.
Okay, that's all. Okay.
It's not happening.
I was looking for a different answer, but no,
it's not happening. Ted, and we wouldn't want to do it without Ted, and Ted doesn't want to do it, so it's not happening. Yeah. So, I mean, trust me, we would all jump on board to do it if he was willing to do it. And he's been asked over 20 years to do it.
You know what?
But he thinks that, I honestly feel like we don't need a 2. One is.
I was about to say, sometimes it's okay to just let that first one just be.
Yeah, just let it be. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We mess up sequels sometimes. Not to say that this sequel wouldn't have been good, but sometimes we don't get the sequel right.
Right. And I think that's why Ted is like, no, it wasn't meant to be like, it's not like, what is that film that has, it's not Why Did I Get Married? That was Tyler Perry. Best Friend? No. I can't think of the movie. Oh my gosh. Where
The Best Man?
The Best Man, that's it. They did like 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that worked, that totally worked. But I don't think Love Jones is meant for that, and that's okay. It's totally okay. It is what it is, which is a good thing. I know.
So my hopes and dreams of being your on-screen husband.
Shut down.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did you see the Shy, the last episode on the Shy? It was called Love Jones. Isn't that cool?
Yes, I love the way that they went out dressed as Nia and Lorenz. That was awesome.
Wasn't that great? That was so great. That was so great. Yeah.
We
See,
definitely, man, this has been fun. I appreciate you.
Yes.
I can't be a husband.
That's okay. You're somebody else's husband. Enjoy that.
On screen.
Unbelievable. I don't know why I keep dealing with him.
Yeah,
but I love him like a stepbrother, so you know.
Okay, well there you go.
But indeed, this has been fun. Like I definitely appreciate, you taking time and being able to just express, just what life is like for you, how it's been over the years. Like you're just a beautiful soul, period.
Oh, well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
All.
This is fun.
So
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for asking me to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for accepting because as I said before, there's a lot of people that don't. The first thing I'd be like, okay, no, I'm not trying to, take your kid or anything. I just want to talk because this gives people like there's really people that only know you from Love Jones, to be honest with you. And this gives people the opportunity to see another side of you.
Yeah.
Tell them go watch All American.
Yes. She is better
nice
than you could have ever imagined.
Yeah, I do some things.
All of that. Okay.
For someone like me, because I'm a fan of you on the screen, but I didn't realize that you were doing so much off, behind the scenes as well. So this is a great opportunity for me, and this is why I like to have people like you, up on the show. And I just thank you for being gracious enough to give us some of your time. Let people know how they can follow you on all your social media, because this is 2021. You got that.
I know. Okay, so on Instagram, I'm at official Bernadette Speaks, and then on Twitter, I'm at Bern Speaks, and Speaks is with an ES.
Yes. And she replies to your DMs as long as it's appropriate.
If it's appropriate, actually my daughter runs my social media for me, and she's always getting on my case. But I personally applied to you. I did. I actually was on it, and I applied.
That's all I needed right there. Yeah. Show's over. That's all I needed right there. So thank you. We appreciate you. And who knows, we might be able to do this again and talk about some other stuff that you guys.
Well, you guys stay blessed. Take care of yourself. You beautiful lady.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, love. We really appreciate you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Why was I gonna cry the entire interview? Like, she's so amazing.
She replies directly to my DMs.
It wasn't Sheila. It was Bernadette. Chill out.
Yeah, yes.
But seriously, could you feel the warmth in her? Like, literally the entire interview, I've been fighting back the tears because I'm just like, I want to just get on a flight and go hug her. It's just, she's so amazing.
Yeah, as I knew she would be. That's what
I didn't doubt that she would be, but it's like when you get into that moment and it's even bigger and better than you imagine, I'm just like sitting here like, are you really about to cry, girl? Like, chill out.
It's fun, man. I like having that opportunity to get to know celebrities. We'll call her a celebrity because I like to have that opportunity to bring them on and just talk to them and just get to know,
Yeah, I mean they're real life people just like us,
That's what, man, come on. And that's what we gotta realize and understand. Like, she probably woke up this morning and cooked breakfast for her family before she got on. All of the things that we do. I'm quite sure that, as a family, they go through things, and that's why they have being accountable and saying we're sorry. Like, they go through real life stuff just like we do.
Yeah.
It's just that some of y'all choose to put y'all business out there to the world on social media, and not everything.
And I'll treat to that. But yeah, man, it was just, I think one of the things that really jumped out for me is when she talked about how I'm sorry is something that happens in her home. You know, I remember growing up as a kid, like, please, my mother went to her grave never saying sorry. Like, that just was not going to happen. You know, her way of saying she was wrong would be like, you want to go eat? You want to go to the mall? But you would never hear, I apologize. I'm sorry. Would you forgive me? And that was something for me that I wanted to change in the dynamic with me and my children. And I look at it now where my children are now 20 and 25. And I see how that has truly, like, it's built us to a point where, like, we're truly unbreakable. You know, like at 25, I would have never been on the phone with my mom for hours, right? Me and my oldest daughter, we probably talk on the phone anywhere from 4 to 5 hours a day. And this is while both of us work full time, you know, we're both building businesses, like we're doing stuff. Like it ain't like we just chilling, but we make time to connect. And
how my wife and my daughter are.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, but I just recognize, like, I even feel like that was a plan of the enemy to separate us and keep us from being here, you know. But now, you know, to be in 2021 and us talking about launching, you know, a business together, like, girl, what? You better watch yourself. It's fitting to go down. So get ready. But yeah, it's just, you know, it's just beautiful to see that other families, especially Black families, because notoriously, you know, that's the way we were raised. Like there was no I'm sorry, there was no accountability, you know, and
it's basically man up and get over it.
Right. And that's not the way it works. You know, like we need to all be able to say, you know what, I didn't know. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was even intentional, but I take accountability for what it was and I'm going to do better. You know, so understanding that you have a voice, even, you know, even a 5-year-old, whoever, you know, they have a voice. Don't just discount them because they're, you know, the child, if you will. So,
all right,
that's all, you know.
So I meant to do this at the beginning of the show. Rest in peace to Suzanne Douglas.
Yes.
I swear, and I put this on my post, I wanted to fight Bokeem Woodbine in that movie. What was it? Jason's Lyric.
Mm-hmm.
And he stole that money out of the register at the restaurant. And then he flipped the table and was about to hit her. I'd have fought Bokeem if he'd have hit. If he'd hit, but she beautiful Black woman.
Yes.
Actress. She's been in a lot of different things, but
a whole lot.
But Jason's Lyric is always the one that sticks out for me because, like I said, I was ready to fight that dude. Bokeem, great actor too. He's one of the guys that I would love to have up here. But just scrolling down the calendar a little bit, coming up next week, man. Got author Alenia Stanley. I actually have her book that I need to go and check out before I bring her up on the show. She's from Baltimore, you know.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We always represent the home base. She'll be up there on the 27th, and then on the 28th.
Don't get me started. Because I'm your idol, the highest title, numeral Puerto Rican, but I'm speaking so that you know. Listen.
My joint is the mission. The mission is my joint. The mission is my joint. We're gonna play all of that on the show next week. We're gonna talk about all that. We got special ed in the building.
Yes.
Shout out to my girl MJ Savino for putting this together for me and making this happen. I can't wait to get my man Special Ed up in here. So y'all make sure y'all keep us locked on, do all of that. Dewana, go make you some money. I appreciate you, sis. I like you like a play cousin. Get out of this place. I really don't even know where I'm at.
Oh Lord.
Oh, it's old school right here. Y'all don't know that.
I have not seen paneling on the walls in ages. So yeah, you definitely took me back.
I got here early to make sure I had some lighting. I wanted to make sure the Wi-Fi was working. I I wanted to make sure he had some drinks in the house. I got here early to get this all set up. So shout out to my man Paul for just letting me use his spot. Prayerfully, man, I'm gonna tell you something. If my air conditioner is not working by the time I get home, y'all might as well just start putting bail money or commissary money together for me, because it's gonna be a problem. I ain't had no central air all summer.
Jesus.
It's a problem.
Imagine living in a world where there was no central air.
Exactly. God bless them.
I'm telling you.
And of no fault of ours, so I don't want to hear nothing else today. My air not fixed. It's gonna be a problem.
Right.
I'm going to knock on doors if my air is not fixed today. I appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Love y'all. Mean it. There's nothing you can do about it.
People from Arizona and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
My brother Eric, he was on our YouTube channel, I believe, man. So just thanks, everybody. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back on the 27th at 8 p.m. I'll be back in my basement with some gray walls and all of that kind of stuff. I love y'all, man. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Have a tremendous Yeah, we love y'all. And ain't a damn thing y'all can do about it. So just accept it, because it is what it is. That's the knowledge of Foxy's baby. And Nina, the original party girl. I love you, sis.
Love you, girl.
All right, man. We're out of here. Have a good one.
Adios.
Deuces.